Hey, Survivor. Welcome to episode 169 of the Vibrant Survivor podcast. Today we're talking about something that doesn't really get discussed that much when it comes to healing, and that is what happens when you go back to the place where so much happened to you. This could be your hometown, your family environment, a workplace, a courthouse, a church. Places connected to memories and sometimes to pain. But here's the thing. The good news is you can go back and still move forward. But first, let's self-regulate with a 4-for-8 breathing exercise, if you'd like. And I invite you to settle into your seat, wherever that may be. Maybe shift a little bit, get comfortable. Roll your shoulders if that feels good to you. And we'll inhale for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 8. Ready? Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What do you notice in your body right now? Grab your notebook and pen and let's dig in. Hey, Survivor. Welcome to the Vibrant Survivor podcast. Do you want to disconnect from a narcissistic or toxic situation and heal? Are you Googling how to identify a narcissist, narcissistic abuse, and boundaries? Are you feeling stressed and lonely while trying to avoid being sucked back in and lied to again? Hey, I'm Lesley. As a busy wife and mom, I fell for the lies and manipulations of narcissists. I wasted my time, talents, and money on users who kept moving the goalposts. I wanted real relationships and business opportunities and to enjoy life with my family. Instead, I struggled with anxiety, panic attacks, and insomnia, and I couldn't trust my body or anybody until I took a holistic approach to healing. In this podcast, you'll find tips for healthy living, trauma healing, and boundaries so that you'll have the freedom, confidence, and inner peace to respond, not react, after narcissistic abuse. Take a deep breath in, let it out slowly, and just relax. This time's for you. Can I share something with you, Survivor? I am in full-on sandwich mode right now. Like, literally. I am caring for an aging parent, or co-caring, I should say, for an aging parent, and I am still raising the future. And it's a lot. I have heard that the sandwich generation is the most stressed out generation on the planet right now. And I believe it. Recently, I went back to my hometown to help my mom out. And I had all this anticipation before I left of just health appointments and just getting things done. I always try to maximize my visit, and I really worry about it. Like, how can I maximize my time? How can I make it fun? What can I do? Who can I see? How can I make sure that she gets things that she needs, or that we connect with family, or that I get to connect with some friends, that I have a chance to decompress while I'm there. Also, there's just the reality of going back to the scene of the crime, so to speak. This is the place where I grew up, and in a narcissistic family of origin, and there are a lot of memories that I have for a good chunk of my life, up until the time that I left to go to college. So there's the anticipation of just even old emotional memories surfacing, or just even because of the nature of my interactions these days with my mom. There's a lot of going over old photo albums and finding things and decluttering and, oh my gosh, look at this, and oh, remember that? And then just the practicality of just driving down streets that I grew up on. And it's a lot. However, I haven't lived there in decades. So these days I see things differently, and especially after figuring out who and what I was dealing with and realizing the truth about my family of origin, about my upbringing, and then going through the process of healing, all the work that I've done, the books, therapy, the healing modalities, all of it, the talks, the confrontations, resolutions. It's all come into play and has literally shifted my perspective on things. And what I realized is that I've changed and grown a lot. And I can go back to the scene of the crime, so to speak, and have a completely different experience, and also have the perspective of what I went through, like look at it as an observer. And for those who still move the same way as when I was growing up there, I relate in a completely different way. And that's a beautiful thing. And I realized that the place of origin, in this case my hometown, hasn't changed as much as I have. I think I've outpaced it because a lot of those dynamics, even socially, culturally, they still exist there. And not only have I removed myself, I no longer subscribe to that way of thinking or that way of operating or relating to people. I'm coming at it with a completely different perspective on top of just, culturally, because I've spent the majority of my adult life on the West Coast and lived all over really, but I'm also looking at it through a different lens of healing. How do you see that in your life? Our brains link memories, emotions, and environments. There's certain smells, streets, buildings, even people who can activate stored experiences that maybe we haven't dealt with, thought about in a long time. You're not being dramatic. Your nervous system remembers. The body keeps the score. For example, you can go visit your childhood home. I actually tried to do this. Now, my childhood home got torn down years ago. I grew up across from a prominent university, and the university has since bought up all that land. And where I used to live, they tore all that down and built an arena. Not only that, but when I tried to drive down my childhood street, the street at a certain point is blocked off because there's the stadium and all these things, and they've turned the complex that I lived in into student housing for the most part. So you can't even go to all the way down the street. And then on top of that, the place that I grew up in isn't even there. It's kind of sad, sobering. The other thing is schools. You can go by an old school that you attended. Maybe you were bullied growing up. Maybe you had some bad memories. Maybe you were in the minority, or you were the nerd, or you were kind of on the outs, or you were shy, introverted, and targeted. That can be a trigger too, going by the schools. Family gatherings. Maybe there's an event going on or something that is going to put you around family members that maybe teased you growing up, or weren't very loving, or that you have some kind of negative associations or conflicts with. That can be triggering, and it can be a challenge, especially if you've worked hard to heal from, to forgive, to overcome whatever those relational dynamics were, or to just rise above the toxicity. And you are operating kind of on a different level these days. Your communication, the way you think, your perspective. and everybody else hasn't done that or isn't on that level or about that life, that can be interesting in terms of your interactions can be a little awkward. Things like courtrooms can be triggering. If you had some legal things, if it was, say, the separation or divorce of parents, or somebody went to jail, aces in the home, things like that, where you have negative associations. Hospitals, driving by places where maybe you had surgery, maybe you were sick, maybe there was an accident, maybe somebody sadly was abused and had to go to ER or something like that. Those things can be very, very triggering. Or just even the place where you were born, or maybe you lost a family member in a particular hospital. I know during my trip, there were 2 family members that were hospitalized, and one of them passed away during my visit. And we were trying to encourage and rally around other family members and comfort them during a super difficult time. And I don't think we were really expecting that. I think everybody thought that the outcome was going to be more favorable. Now, in some ways, it all worked out for the best, but you know what I mean, in terms of keeping the family intact or having that loved one rally and recover. And that didn't happen. So there was a lot of trauma around hospitals. Research in neuroscience shows that emotional memories are strongly connected to environmental cues. Thank you again, Dr. Vanderkolk, who talks a lot about trauma memory and sensory triggers. So trauma isn't just remembered mentally, it's remembered environmentally. A lot of survivors you may think, survivor, if I go back, I'll regress. I'm going to undo all the hard work I've done to heal and to move on. But really, healing looks like returning with new boundaries in place and a regulated nervous system. And that is a powerful thing. And hopefully you see it as such. You are not the same version of yourself anymore. I was not the same version of myself a week or so ago back in my hometown. And that power shift is internal. You are revisiting as an observer, not this trapped participant or victim of circumstance. Isn't that empowering and refreshing? Come on, who doesn't want that? So here are some strategies that you can deploy to help you navigate situations like this when you are returning to the scene of the crime, so to speak. Number 1, decide what your role is before you arrive. Are you a visitor? Are you a fixer, peacemaker? And I want to encourage you to choose peace. Go with the heart to be a light and to, love up on those who need loving up on, and be wise about your own situation, but to really choose to prioritize peace. Number 2, speaking of peace, control your exposure time. You do not owe anyone unlimited access to you and any resources that you bring to the table. Even if there is like an overarching theme or purpose to your visit, like I went to do caregiving and help out in different ways, but you don't owe unlimited access to folks. If you are in a situation that could be triggering for you, then you can make plans to make an early exit if you have to. And you can set boundaries, set parameters. Like, you know what? I'm going to call it a day. Boy, I am tired. I'm going to get some rest and see what tomorrow brings. Or take care of X, Y, and Z tomorrow. Number 3, expect pattern behavior. those who have not taken the opportunity to do the deep healing work that you have, survivor, will stay stuck in patterns of behavior. And that can be predictable in a sense. And preparation can help reduce the shock factor. Predictability takes away the power of it. You know who and what you're dealing with. You know what's going on. You understand the dynamics, and you can navigate accordingly so that you can protect your peace and all that healing work you've done. Number 4, create micro safety anchors. Have some plans in place that you can implement when and if needed. For example, you can go take a walk around the block when and if it's safe to do so. Or you can, I know I spent time walking in the park near my mom's house, and it was beautiful. The weather, there were some days that were chillier than others, but it was beautiful, and it felt so good to get outside and just breathe fresh air and to clear my mind, meditate, pray, put things into perspective, and then go back and tackle whatever was on the agenda for the day. You can text safe people, give them a little update, or reach out to people and see if they might be available to get together, where you can create a sense of community even if you're on the go or you're traveling. I was able to get together with a couple of different friends during my time in my hometown, and it was awesome. I got to have dinner with one of my longtime friends and his wife, and we had a lovely time, and I got to discover a new place, a new restaurant. It was delicious. And connected with another friend of mine who treated me to lunch, and we were talking about our families, our kids, and just sharing our experiences, caring for aging parents. And they were dropping all kinds of resources and ideas that I was able to share with my daughter and my son to kind of help them as they transition into their futures and their next chapters in life, in school, as adults. So that was super helpful. And it was a great chance to let our hair down and have a couple of laughs. So love that. You can also, besides texting safe people, take time to ground physically. I love the Calm app. I love my power walks. I love going outside. I feel very connected to this park by my mom's house. Spent a lot of time there growing up, learned how to drive there, but you know what? I was able to go back and just use it as a place to ground and reset and recharge and just move my body, which was very helpful because there was a lot going on, a lot of stressful situations, medical appointments, family crises, tragedies, just different things happening, which could have been overwhelming. And even noticing something like the sun, even if you're in a city that has crazy weather, where it's like cloudy one moment, sunny the next, snow flurries, I experienced it all, raining. Even noticing sunlight or breath can help you to self-regulate and get grounded. Number 5, give yourself something positive there. You can create new memories and override any kind of emotional dominance. And that's a powerful thing. It could be something as simple, like I mentioned, I got together with my friend and his wife for dinner, and his wife suggested this restaurant she really likes, and I got to discover a new place. It could be a new coffee shop. I got to do that too. I was down the street from the place where my grandma used to live, and there I went to a coffee shop right there, and I had never been there before. So it gave me a chance to just do some writing, some journaling, do some reading, and just kind of set my intentions for the remainder of my stay. And then an interesting thing happened. I actually felt compelled to walk over to the house to see who was there, what was going on. And it was really cool. I got to see some old family friends, and that was really powerful. And they gave me a little magnet of my grandmother that they had kept in the house, and it was really special to be able to take that with me. It could be going for a walk. Like I said, just walking to go visit my grandmother's old house, and walking through the park, noticing things, listening to the birds, getting in touch with nature, or a friend visit. These are all things that can help to create new memories, meeting new friends, meeting new people. And you can reclaim your territory emotionally, physically, mentally. And that's a beautiful thing. Let's lean into healing. L, lifestyle. Plan some time for recovery after visits like this that can be emotionally triggering or physically taxing. I'm looking forward to spending time. It's my birthday weekend. I'm going to get a chance to see my daughter run. I'm super excited about that, and just get some me time. And I can't wait. Healing can include taking time to decompress. E, exercise. Taking the opportunity to move your body after you've been exposed to a lot of stressors. And this could be from people, places, environmental triggers, seeing things that trigger memories. This can help to get rid of stress hormones. So, like I said, for me, I love my walks. It helps me to clear my mind, and it helps me to just reset. And I love that. And, you don't have to do anything rigorous or intense. There was one day where that cold was cutting through the little bit of workout clothing that I brought because I wasn't prepared, and I'm a desert dweller. But so I still took a walk. I shortened it, and I made sure that it included a climb up a hill so that I could get the most out of it. But even something like that works. Or jumping up and down, or going up and down stairs. Anything that you can do, something that you will do consistently, that you enjoy. A, attitude. Think of it as gathering information and not seeking approval when you, say, go back to places from your past or that have the potential to trigger negative memories or associations. And, just observe. Observe patterns in a calm manner and just take notes and know that that's okay. And, remind yourself that you are an observer. You're visiting. You've come a long way. This is not who and what you are anymore. And nutrition. When you are stressed out, it is so important to nourish your body with whole foods, to hydrate. It's so easy to just skip it. And hydration and having good, clean proteins, especially plant proteins, can help you to self-regulate. It's really simple, but it's practical. And another thing is you can turn it into something fun and engaging, like, say, for example, sharing a recipe with family or friends, depending on what your accommodations are or where you're staying. I stayed with my mom because I wanted to maximize my time and be able to do lots of things with and for her. So I was able to pick up some groceries and make a recipe that we enjoy at our house. I worked on a coconut curry pumpkin lentil soup. I forgot the lentils, so I made the broth for the most part and then told my brother to throw some lentils in there and let those cook and simmer and then enjoy. And they enjoyed it, and he even got creative and added some things that I don't normally add to mine, but had fun with it. So that was kind of cool. And you can do those things too. And I know that my mom was secretly glad to get a break from their normal routine when it comes to meal rotations. And sometimes something that simple can really spark conversation and, be encouraging as well as nourishing. You don't have to avoid your hometown, your family of origin, the world, places where maybe you have some bad memories or negative associations. Healing eventually looks like going to places peacefully with perspective that maybe once overwhelmed you or that hurt you. And that's a sign of growth. Remember, you can revisit the past without reliving it. Thanks for tuning in, Survivor. Your personal growth and healing matter. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. If this podcast has helped you understand who and what you're dealing with, sharpen your discernment, and move forward on your healing journey, share it with another survivor. Help me help others by leaving a review for the show. And let's connect on social. Take a screenshot, share it in your IG stories, find and tag me at The Vibrant Survivor, and I'll share your post too. I look forward to connecting with you on IG and seeing you back here. You're not alone and you're not crazy. Know who you're dealing with, know who you are. Take care, and I'll meet you back here next week. Bye-bye.